Hey guys, welcome to another one of my Instagram editing tutorials. Yay! Watch this in your YouTube app for the best viewing experience, and I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, so a few days ago I pulled on my Insta stories and asked what you guys wanted to see me edit, and you asked for another animated gram. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do a Plotagraph again today. So starting in my photography tab, in my trusty Pick Tap Go app. You don't have to use Pick Tap Go. You can use whatever app you like for, a basic sharpen, brighten, contrast. I like Pick Tap Go, and Visco and Afterlight and Snapseed, but any of those or whatever it is you like. This has just kind of been my workflow for the last 4 years, and it's just easy and consistent for me, but you don't have to use that. I mean, anything, all the apps pretty much brighten and sharpen and have really similar capabilities. So we shot this photo at sunset. You can tell probably by the glowy light, but the way that my face and Buzzy's face is we really were in the shadow. It was such a fun moment, and I wasn't really thinking about lighting where if I was specifically shooting, maybe for a campaign or something, I would pay more attention to that, but I was just kind of in the moment. It was such a fun moment, but my face is really dark and so is Buzzy, so I'm gonna have to lighten this up quite a bit. So I'm gonna turn the light on with top left. I usually go for bright side, but on this one I can tell I'm gonna need both. So I don't want to pull it up all the way. I think I'm gonna go about 2/3 up. I'm gonna go down to bright side. So it's always like a little bit of a balance of not blowing out your picture but making it bright, especially on Instagram. For me, when I'm editing for Instagram, bright but not blown out pictures seem to do well. I'm going to pull that bright side all the way up. Actually, I'm going to warm this up too because it's just a really cool tone on Buzzy's body, so we're just going to warm that up, and that just looks so much glowier and warmer. Okay, great. I'm gonna keep it there and then save that and continue to edit in Visco. So I'm going to go back to my photography tab and go over to Visco and pull this in here. So for editing that, so I think I'm going to try out A6. Oh, I'm liking the way that A6 pops on here, but I also like A10 sometimes on these ones. So that's a little bit softer. Ooh, that's a tough call. There's a little bit of a green tone there, but I could pull that out. So you have to watch tone, like skin tone. This is a little funny because when I pull that all the way over, my face looks a little bit red, but there's like a green undertone to the photo. Let me see if A6, I'm going to have that same issue. I'm liking A6, it's just a little contrasted. I think I'm going to go with that though. Not too far, just like halfway over. You can see me playing with it. I do that all the time, and it's sometimes hard to like teach, an exact science to this because so much of it is personal preference and just what speaks to me. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to, we don't want to blow it out, but I do want to be able to see our face. So anytime you're doing a Plotagraph, you really want to make sure your picture is sharp. The only bummer about doing animated grams is the way that it compresses into Instagram. It's sometimes blurry, which is such a heartbreaker for me. But so I'm going to go overly sharper than I normally would, even because sometimes I like a little blur, not necessarily blur, but a little like almost grain to my photo. But we want to make sure it's nice and sharp. And then is my horizon a little off there? I might want to adjust that too. So I'm just going to go into straighten and just make sure that we're nice and straight. That looks a little more pleasing to my eye. And I think I even want to warm this up a bit more. So I'm going to warm more. Ooh, yes. Ooh, yes. I'm liking that. Okay. I like that. Just so glowy and sun kissed. Okay, great. So I'm going to save this. We're going to save that. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now I want to pull up Plotagraph. So Plotagraph is that animated gram. You can see I was kind of going through a few options here. I already did this, but it's fun. It's actually fun every time I do it. But the picture that I chose, this top one, the ocean was the easiest to make move in a magical way for me, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna upload that in there. All right, here we go. Let's get started. So what you wanna do first is go ahead and mask me and Buzzy, because we don't want to be moving. And if you miss, it's funny, if you ever miss any little part of the subject or whatever it is you don't want to move, you'll notice it because it will look so crazy. So I'm just gonna kind of go over this and I'll go back and fine tune it with the eraser. I'm just gonna go over his precious little face, my hair, we wanna get all that. So this is what I'm doing, is I'm masking this, anything I don't want to move. The other thing you can use to keep something from moving is anchor. So I'm actually going to go ahead and anchor the land, that little bit of a cliff that's in the background. So let's go ahead and zoom in now. We want to erase some of this because it's a little bit sloppy. So I'm going to go ahead and make my erasing tool. Oops, I need to make that erasing tool a little bit smaller. Let me go back to mask because I gotta mask myself again because we don't want that leg moving. I almost want to show you, if you miss any of the body, it's like flying around crazy. So you don't want to do that. So let's go back over to the eraser. Let's bring that tool down so I can just be extra precise. And I just want to make sure that you can really tell. You can tell if you're a little sloppy there, and it will just, it's kind of distracting to the image. So you definitely want to erase around the excess, and you just want to make sure you're masking anything you don't want to move, because it will move. So I'm just using my finger to go around here and just try to get a little more detailed. That's probably good. You can see that there's a little bit of my body that's needs to be masked again, so that when I'm zoomed in here I can kind of do a better job. I don't know if editing's therapeutic for anybody else, but I love, like, at the end of the day, grab a glass of wine, put on my show, sit next to Bobby, and edit my photos like this. And I'll do so many over, and because I really do love it. It's like an art form, kind of. I think that's pretty good. A little bit of my hair here, and we want to make sure we get it because it will be crazy. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead now. The fun part, we are going to want to get this animated. So let's move this out. So for this photo, I kind of wanted to make the ocean like swirling around me. So you can kind of start, a little goes a long way. So I want to kind of start, let's have this move this way. And over here, you can see the direction of the arrow is going to move my ocean. Let's press play and see how that looks. So kind of like wave-like. I like the rising and falling. What's really distracting me right now, though, is that the cliff in the background is moving, so I can't even focus on if I like the ocean. So I need to hit the anchor button. I can just highlighted it down there, down the bottom display bar, and I want to anchor that really well because we do not want that moving. That just looks so silly. So let's go ahead and take a look now. Much better, right? So and now I'm liking the way the ocean's moving. So sometimes I'll take a look and I'll say, okay, I feel like it's a little distracting on the horizon of where the water meets the horizon. So I'm going to go ahead and anchor that too. I'm going to go back to the anchor and anchor where I think it looks just not, there we go. I'm liking that better. And I like that the ocean is kind of swirling around me. Sometimes I'll do it differently every time. That looks good. Let's see. I might want to play with the speed of this. So let's go over to the speed selection in our display bar, and let's slow that down just a little bit and see how that looks. I'm liking that. And let's see faster. Faster is too crazy. I like it slower. So maybe I'm going to go down to like 3.6. So I think the most important thing when you're doing a Plotagraph is to make sure that you're anchoring correctly. And then making sure you're masking correctly. I'm really liking this. So let's go ahead and yeah, I'm liking it. I want to show you guys what happens if you don't mask correctly. So let's go erase. I'm just gonna erase even like the littlest bit of my leg and the littlest bit of my hair, and I want to show you what happens. So look at my leg. sometimes they're like flying all across the photo. So that's obviously very distracting. My hair isn't too bad on this one. Sometimes you'll just see a little bit of like Buzzy's arm like flashing around the picture. So overall I'm liking this, and it's, you know, it's I mean, not with the edits I just made where my legs moving, but I think, you know, with the Plotagraph you can really have fun and make the ocean or a tree or whatever, your hair, a bird, whatever it is that you're working with, you know, kind of move to your discretion. I like the way that this photo felt like we're just in this big, powerful, magical ocean. That's what really drew me to it. I loved working with all the white foamy water. And I'm going to go ahead and fix that because it's driving me nuts just even talking right now. So we can get one last final view. But I want to encourage you guys to try new things, play with the Plotagraph. Usually, even though it might upload to Instagram a touch blurry, it's not so noticeable that I don't continue to do it, because I really have a lot of fun with these, and I just think it adds a fun twist to your pictures. And the last thing I will add is when you animate your Instagram photo, it technically makes it a movie. So I noticed that any of my Plotagraphs do much better with my insights as far as getting on the explore page. When you look at the explore page, you can notice in Instagram, I'll go over there right now, that on the top, so if I'm going to Instagram and I'm going to search right here in the top right corner, it's always a large video option taking up the most space, and I think video gets seen the most. So whenever I do a Plotagraph, I usually have a much more higher engagement on the explore page. So it's kind of something to keep in mind. I hope you guys had fun with that, and give a Plotagraph a try and let me know what you think. See you next time.